Hey there everybody, redxparasite here, and welcome back to Let's Play Metroid Prime 3. In last episode, we wrapped up our business in the Valhalla, and in this episode, we are going to be actually advancing the plot for once. I know, it's a very foreign concept.
Outstanding work, Samus. I don't say this often, but I sure am impressed. That said, you've still got work to do. Up ahead is the pirate cargo line that leads to the sea. There's a large security door located at the end. 4 demolition troopers are needed to open the final door, so you need to make sure enough of them make it safely through this area. You are the only one who can destroy the seed. We'll help along the way. But once we get there, it's up to you to finish the job. We're right behind you, Samus. Do some damage.
Alright, so we haven't seen Admiral Dane in a while, but he's given us our next objective. We need to get through this cargo supply line, and we're going to have a squadron of demolition troopers that we need to protect and get through the area. So we need at least 4 to make it to the end, which having 4 remaining isn't usually too bad. This does get very challenging on hyper mode, so it's definitely a lot more stressful there. Before you start, however, we do have a new scan here, so you can scan these demolition troopers. They do count towards your logbook. Federation trooper outfitted with explosives-based weaponry. Demolition troopers are not especially combat savvy and often rely on others to cover them in battle. They are outfitted with explosive weaponry for special missions. When the only way to the objective is straight through everything, the troopers in this unit are called upon to make it happen. While capable of destroying the strongest of barriers, these troopers are not as capable in combat as traditional Marines. So you're going to need to protect them throughout this area. So you're going to want to be a little bit more aggressive than you might be in terms of taking things out.
Since our armor is weaker than most of the troopers, we need you to watch our backs through this area. Our group color is yellow. Most of the demolition team has already started moving towards the seed, so you better get going. Good luck.
Okay, so the best strategy that you can employ here is to kind of shield the troopers with your body. So basically just get in the way of the space pirate shots, and actually being in hyper mode can help you absorb the shots without actually taking damage. So if you can kind of use yourself as a shield, that will help you protect them a little bit more easily. Now, we are going to be looking for a scan throughout this area. There are certain areas where you don't have to worry about protecting them, so like this room is one of them. There will be cutscenes that show up. Armored, wait. That was the armored pirate trooper, right? Just gonna scan for it. So yeah, just kind of stand in the way of their shots, and that will help you protect them a little bit more. Okay, armored pirate trooper. Oh, armored shield trooper is the one that we want. Ah. Okay, so I'm just gonna scan every armored trooper, just in case. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty sure these advanced air troopers show up elsewhere, so yep, I lost one because of that explosion. So that was my bad. Alright, going through this area. Okay, let's take a look. You are all green, so. Yeah, I would advise using hyper mode liberally here. You know, provided you have enough energy tanks, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. You know, you shouldn't really run low on health too much. Okay, so like I'm hoping that we'll get an armored shield trooper here, because I would really prefer to not have to go back and get one scan for this, you know? It would be really nice. There are some opportunities to get your health back in some of these sections, so definitely make use of these. Alright, I'm just making sure that I don't miss the scan. You are not the one that I'm looking for. Okay, so I don't think the scan is in this one. So we're looking for P70 is the name of the tunnel. Okay, yeah, we haven't run into it yet, so it's likely still ahead of us. Right, the troopers are running past us again, which means we will need to protect them in this area. Or at least, actually, now it's the next room. Well, it's technically still this room, it's just the end of this. Okay, so I'm gonna run up here. Advanced pirate troopers, both of these. Wait. Just went into hyper mode. Different scan. Oh, okay, so it's not actually a new scan. Yeah, with these guys, going into hyper mode is definitely a lot easier than trying to take them out normally, because they do have a lot of health. There you are. Get in my logbook. No! Okay, I have to wait here, actually. Oh, great. I need to get this scan. And I can't do it while it's in hyper mode. You are making my life very not fun. Okay, Armored Shield Trooper. Battle Shield deflects attacks, but can be pulled with Grapple Beam. Armored Shield Troopers are equipped with a standard armor suit, is resilient, but still vulnerable to explosive attacks. In addition, to their armor, they wield a portable battle shield. Removing the shield leaves them open to all attacks. The shield is also vulnerable to phase on missed attacks. So you have already cost me 2 of my guys. But unfortunately, I needed to get that scan. Because I don't know if we'll see another one of those beyond this. So. I'm going to try my best now to make sure that, you know, we don't lose any more of the demolition troopers. Well, this is going well. Oh, jeez. A lot of pirates in here, and I was not good at dispatching the ones in this area, so I'm not doing so hot with this. 2 of them definitely could have been avoided. More of them probably could have as well. There's some jump lines in here, so just watch your step. What if one of these was, you know, one of the shield troopers, and you could just get the scan easily here? That would be splendid. But I'm gonna double check to see if this is. Alright, this is P69, so we're not at the scan yet. I don't think, as long as the numbering system holds consistent. All right. Let's guys out quickly. And guess what we get to deal with? There's a Berserker Knight in here. So actually our hyper mode's probably going to go to waste here. Not going to last long enough for us to be able to use it on it. Ah, no. Oh, great. Crap. I could actually fail this very, very much so. Very close to not succeeding. And for, you know, as much as I said, this isn't that hard to deal with. Sure am having a lot of trouble. Okay, so with these, use this. Use this strategy. It's very helpful. Okay, so we've reached the point where you need to have at least 4. It's a lot more stressful than I thought it was going to be. Then again, when you're playing through games and you're talking at the same time, things are generally harder than when you're just being quiet. It's part of the reason why the Let's Play curse is a thing. So fun fact about the counter though, up there, in order to start this area, you will need to talk to the demolition trooper at the start, and so that'll bring up the counter.
Thanks for all the help back there, Samus. I almost thought we weren't gonna make it when those commandos showed up. We owe you one.
So if you glitch your way through here, which, you know, is done in the speedrun to skip certain items being necessary.
The entrance to the siege should be just through this cargo door. We'll keep the area clear while you go on ahead. Good luck.
That counter will actually stay on your HUD, I think, for the rest of the game. Because you actually have to go through this door, normally, in order to get rid of it. So I think it just sticks on your HUD for the rest of the game. No, I went away from the door, so it closed. So in this, oh, okay, yeah, this is where the scan is. I'm remembering. So yeah, just make sure you don't miss this. It can be kind of easy to miss. So this is Mistress Gandreda. I really cannot say that word today. Mistress Gandreda is the last of our leader's field commanders. We hope that she will succeed where others have not. We hope that she will slay the wretched hunter. Gandreda tests our mettle often. She moves among us in our form, watching us, looking for signs of weakness. Several unfaithful disciples have been ended violently. Those who survive will be stronger, ready for the hunter that comes for them in the from the void. Gandreda has vowed to present Aaron's bloody helmet to Dark Samus as tribute. We hope she fulfills that vow. So I think that is the last pirate entry for the lore. And make use of this Phazon pool here to recharge your health. It's actually fairly quick once you get going. Because there is a fight coming up after this. We're not done with the fights yet. So definitely a good idea to recharge your health before you go into this area. So, we have a door in front of us that we need to get past. We scan it. High amounts of maldium in the transit doors. If you read other scans that you need the ship missiles to deal with, then you will see that we need ship missiles to deal with this. Now, there is actually a way to get up onto this ledge without using the grab ledge, but there's a cutscene that triggers on this that the game will just kind of force you into once you land up on that. So unfortunately, there's no way to skip this that I know of. Now, make sure that you scan the pirate commander here. This is the only place where you can actually get the scan. He has showed up before, but he kind of disappeared before we could actually get the scan on him. Commanders make heavy use of their personal teleporter, moving to favorable positions and across the battlefield, giving orders and support as needed. They carry all of the weaponry and gear used by commandos with the exception of their armor, which is forged out of ultra-rare red phasite. A rare breed, pirate commanders have lived to rise to the ruling caste on the Pirate Homeworld. Each has been a commando for at least 10 years. So this is the guy that you're going to want to focus on in this fight, because you actually need to kill him to end the fight. So he will spawn in commandos periodically, and he will also teleport around the battlefield. So really, you can just ignore the other commandos mostly and just go after him. Don't get too close, though, to him, because he will teleport away from you if you get too close to his position. Other than that, there's really not much to say about this fight. It does take a lot of ammo to take down his armor, which I think I just got the kill on him there. So we will just have to deal with the remaining pirate commandos. Or maybe he's not dead. Yeah, one of them is in hyper mode, so. Maybe there's just a lot more pirates left alive than I thought there were. Okay, yeah, that will do the trick. So, all in all, you'll probably need to just go into hyper mode a few times to take care of the commander, because otherwise it can be a bit of a nuisance. So, yeah, I still only lost like 2 energy tanks worth of health, so not that bad. Ah, no, I bounced off it. Okay, I'm determined to actually screw attack to that platform, because it's not too difficult to do. It's kind of a tight jump, but oh, well, whatever. I'll give up and do it the normal way. The grab ledge. I think this is like one of the last one of those that we'll have to do. Of course I had trouble with it, because can't end on a good note. Okay, so let's go into our command visor. It's been a while since we used this. Can drop through this hole. And use ship missiles, I think, for the last time that we'll need to in the game. Which, after the places on Bria where you're required to use them, I don't really think you get a ton of use out of them. Yep. So your ship actually does provide protection from the acid rain, so if you're skipping the hazard shield, you can actually, this area right here is not too difficult to deal with that. So we can now enter our ship here, and the way to the seed is now clear. So I say let's go to the seed and destroy it once and for all. Get a cool cutscene of us flying down the tunnel toward the seed. And of course, it's going to do the same standard loading thing that it would for any area. But I do think it's kind of cool, though, how the only way to get through the seed is actually through this tunnel. So, welcome to the Pirate Homeworld seed. The layout is pretty similar to all of the other seeds. You know, they definitely did not do some copying and pasting here. You will need the screw attack, though, to get to this door. Now, these tentacles are actually the easiest ones to deal with, because you just use the X-ray visor plus Nova Beam strategy, and that's it. So they do get points for being my favorite tentacles to deal with. And this boss that we have coming up here is my favorite out of the 3 seed bosses. Oh hey Ridley, I thought you died. So, surprise, there is not just one Ridley fight in this game, there are actually two. So say hi to Omega Ridley. Armored plating protects body, fire, plasma attacks from mouth. Revived and regenerated through phase 1 exposure, Omega Ridley has been energized to a new combat threat level. Target remains extremely durable, phase 1 enhanced armor skin, as well as protective armored plating. Scans indicate that a recent injury has not fully healed, expose and target wound to inflict damage. Target will act to protect this vulnerability, seek ways to stun the enemy, and leave it open for deadly attacks. So, the basic gist of the way this fight is going to work is you want to attack its mouth while it's open, which it will do after attacks. Sometimes it'll just give you free openings. They did make some improvements in this game in terms of making his weak spot, or they show you when his mouth is actually vulnerable, because it'll glow a little bit. But his attacks are really standard. There are obviously some new ones that we haven't seen. This one did show up in the Meta Ridley fight. But what you're going to want to do is pull his chest armor open there, and then you have to be in hyper mode for this section. There are kind of health gates that you'll need for this one, so you won't be able to do more than a certain amount of damage. Most of his attacks are pretty self-explanatory on how to avoid them. Jump over this one, the one where he charges at you. You want to dodge out of the way, I think. Yep. Yeah, shoot these before they get to you. Just strafe out of the way of that attack. He will kind of do a ground pound there if you don't attack him. I've managed to get the drop on him each time before he actually gets that attack off. One thing to note is while you're pulling off the plate there in the first kind of phase of this fight, you can actually get health back if you use the grapple voltage. So with this part, what you're going to want to do, he has some new phasite armor on his body, which I think, yeah, the scan will change to indicate. Armor is invulnerable, but the internal joints seem weak. So you're going to want to use the X-ray visor and the Nova Beam to attack those joints and break them. So it's going to be the same as before. You're still going to want to get stunned. And that's pretty much it. He will jump up into the air and start flying around. Not this attack, but he will actually kind of leave the arena and fly through the holes in the area here. Oh, we also get to play jump rope, which is fun. Yeah, just be careful. You're probably going to want to jump early on these, just because the next one will start coming faster than you might think, and you need to actually get down to the ground before you can... Aha, got you. Nah, that wasn't enough to actually fully stun him, though. Just be wary, once you get him to lower health, he will do a second pass on that fire breath attack. We'll probably end up seeing it at some point. Just something to be wary of. Now, you are actually doing direct damage to his health when you're taking off the armor, so it's not like we have to break off the armor before we can do damage to his main health bar again. So that's a nice thing about this phase of the fight. During the first phase, of course, you will only damage him when you're actually directly attacking his chest. Okay, so that will take off his chest plating. Maybe he doesn't do the flying thing until you remove the phasite armor. So, at this point, now all you have to do is just stun him, and you'll be able to target the wound with phazon-based attacks. So, say hi, say goodbye. You can track where he is on your radar to see which hole that he is going to come out of. does, I think, do some attacks out of this. What I think is interesting is... There we go. There are those secret missiles. The way that they modeled his, you know, body on the radar is just a bunch of enemy points kind of swarming together. Okay, so he should get... He's landing now. And he's taking right off again. There's really not much that you can do. During some of the attack patterns, you will be able to stun him, but he is pretty far away. So it can be difficult to actually land a hit. There we go. Well, that's new, I think. So he's probably going to do the... Nope, not yet. Ah, that missed. I think I got a hit in there. I missed that time. And he'll do this charge attack 3 times once you get him down to that, so... Having not so great aim with this. Oops. Also, one thing that I haven't actually been using a lot against some of these bosses are the missiles. So, okay, he's officially out of the stun now. So, I'm gonna go back to normal beams. There we go. Gotcha. So either use like charge shots, or you can use missiles to get in a little bit more damage. And that's pretty much all there is to this fight. I mean, I think it's a pretty solid fight in terms of, you know, it's pretty fair on the difficulty. You know, you have to learn how to avoid his attacks and how to deal with it. You know, they change up how you have to deal damage to him, so it's not just the same fight. It's just really long. So, good fight. I like it. Of course, our face on corruption is growing even more. So we definitely need more of that at this point. Our suit is now very blue. And for defeating Omega Ridley, we are going to get the last item in the game, which is the Hyper Grapple. So we know the drill on this one. Interestingly enough, though, in that cutscene we still had the Nova Beam, because now you can see we're actually in the proper Hyper Mode beam. But this is when you'll get the 100% of all pickups acquired. So we get another special ending for that. And in order to destroy the core, of course, we'll need to use our new Hyper ability. So with the Hyper Grapple, it basically just allows you to use the grapple voltage while you're in Hyper Mode. And that's pretty much it. So in order to destroy these, you actually need to overload them with energy. Of course, that's not a problem for us in this state, since our health bar is yellow and we have infinite phase-on reserves. If you don't have that, of course, it will spend health to give energy to things like it normally would. Of course, you can get energy back as well using the Hyper Grapple too, so basically the same functionalities it had before, just now in Hyper Mode. That is the last core down. Which means, you know, the game's over, right? It's the final boss. Of course, it's not going to be that That simple. Well, we have taken care of all 3 Leviathan seeds that have impacted the planets in this sector. There's still the matter of, Dark Samus is still alive, and there's still that sentient planet that we heard about from the Aurora unit on the Valhalla. And of course the game is going to tell us about that now too. In case you haven't gone to the Valhalla yet, to the end, which you may not have by this point.
Samus, you have successfully destroyed the last remaining seed as detected by our systems. The spread of Phazon corruption has been stopped. This is a great day for the Federation. However, there is one more mission to complete. Skytown's Aurora Unit 217 reports that it has discovered the origin of the Leviathan attacks. It appears that this is where Dark Samus and her main pirate force are stationed. Destroying them will require a full-scale attack. Unfortunately, this location is so far away it cannot be reached by conventional space travel. We must instead create a wormhole to reach it. The pirates have constructed a Leviathan battleship, which is in orbit around this planet. If we can board this battleship, we may be able to force it to open a wormhole. Large energy surges consistent with a warp device are traveling between the pirate's planet and the Leviathan battleship. We will upload the coordinates of this device to you now.
Okay, so in order to get to Phase and eliminate Dark Samus and the rest of the space pirates under her control, we're going to need to open up a wormhole and, fly our forces over to Phase. And in order to do that, we're going to need to gain control of the Leviathan battleship, but we will do that in the next episode. So thank you very much for watching this episode of Let's Play Metroid Prime 3. I've been redxparasite, signing out.